What time it is? It's time to refill all the Creami containers because they're all empty, and that means there's no possibility of having an ice cream. So nobody better have a bad day right now. Let's get going. Because it's fall, and I think making fun flavors is going to be fun, so let's make some. Now, you might laugh at me, but for me, the green ones have to be mint, and the blue ones have to be vanilla, and this one has to be berry. That's just the way I was rolling, but we're gonna do different flavors right now. Here's the basics of what we need: heavy whipping cream, cream cheese, and whole milk. Because nobody got time in life for fat-free or 2%. That's not gonna happen. Go whole or just don't do it at all. Okay, now, what I am going to do, I also need organic cane sugar. Let me get that. Now, the first thing you're gonna do is go through and put however much sugar you want in each one. I put a little under half a cup. And since we split this, that means we're only eating about a quarter of a cup of sugar in each one. Now, I have done this different ways, like for all the cross of time since I've been making this. And this way right here, this is what I'm sticking with, how I'm making it. A half a cup of sugar. Then we're going to put 2 tablespoons, or basically 2 ounces, maybe 1.5 ounces of cream cheese. Just throw it in each one. Now you might be asking yourself, what does the cream cheese actually do? Why even bother? It adds a depth. It like adds a creamy depth to the whole thing. No, you don't need it, but your ice cream will kind of be flat. So I do it. Now, next, I top with some milk. But we want to use this milk first. So I just top it with, it's about a cup. So these things are 20 ounces, but the fill line is about 2¼ cups. Yes, I measured. And you're just gonna go through and you're gonna add just enough because you're gonna wanna dissolve the sugar and whip in the cream cheese with the immersion blender, because that's coming next. This is where we start having some fun. You're gonna stick the immersion blender in each one, and you're going to just blend it all until it's all incorporated. And you're gonna have to go through it a couple times. And you're gonna pulse it because you don't want the milk to get all buttery frothy. I mean, you can't help a little bit, but, and it's at this point in time that it's all still one flavor, vanilla, basic. Now, I've just gone through the first time, and you can see there's a little tiny bit of sugar at the bottom. We're just gonna let it sit, absorb, and then we're gonna remix. But while we're waiting, we're gonna figure out what flavors we're gonna do. I have a couple pieces of licorice, black licorice. I think I'm gonna make a black licorice. I've done it once before, it was really nice. I'm gonna put that for one. I've also got, where did I put it? A can of pumpkin. So we also have a can of pumpkin we're gonna start making. We're gonna try and make a pumpkin, maple pumpkin ice cream. That sounds good. We've got some cocoa to make some chocolate ice cream. We also have essential oils to make peppermint ice cream, because if you use peppermint extract, it makes it really soft with the peppermint extract I have. And then I have my own homemade vanilla extract, which is superb. So we're gonna do that. We should have everything to make some fun flavors. Let me get going. I am on my second mix. You see a little bit of sugar granules at the very bottom. I'm gonna remix those, and then we're gonna start making our flavors. That's the fun part. I literally just do short bursts just to get it moving, but not fluffy and frothy. I'm going to take the yellow lid and I'm going to add the licorice bits into it and let them just soak for a bit, and then I will immersion blend them. So that's going to be my licorice flavor. I'm also going to add a little bit of vanilla, just a touch, because the vanilla has alcohol and it will make it softer. For each one, I'm also going to add just a pinch of salt. It helps bring out the flavor in your concoction, and I label as we go. I am also going to add a little bit of anise extract, which my father-in-law makes for me. That's going to be fun. Putting that to the side and letting that sit. We're going to work on our next one. Let's see, what's our next one? Let's just work with the blue lids. Let's make pumpkin. Remember that pumpkin spice mix I made last year? We're gonna use it. We're just gonna add some seasoning. We're gonna open this and add probably. This would also be a really good use for my freeze-dried pumpkin. There, we'll just leave that there. And we're gonna let that sit. We're not gonna blend them yet. My green lids, I'm just going to add 4 drops of essential oil because they're just gonna be peppermint. And that's just it. I'm now gonna add 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder to 2 of them. I'm gonna make 1 a chocolate and 1 a mint chocolate. For the last one, let's do a salted maple. It just sounds interesting, and hey, you know what? It's my choice. If we don't like it, we can always go home. Whatever, we're already home. So we've got maple, we'll do maple flavoring too. And let's do coarse sea salt. A little bit of maple extract just to pump up that maple flavor. We may not like this. We may have to tweak this one. Every time you do a recipe the first time, you always have to tweak it the second time to just get it perfectly right. Okay, here's where you start getting interesting because you don't want to mix the flavors, but you want to blend each one of them. And I'll have to rinse my blade every time I go to a different flavor that I don't want to contaminate. So here we go. Man, that smells amazing. Now it has a freeze line, so I'm gonna fill part of it up with more milk, and then I'm gonna top it with my whipping cream. And this is where I'm gonna tell you, you just learn how much whipping cream you want in each one, because too much whipping cream, and it's kind of a heavy ice cream, too little whipping cream, and yeah, did you see that? And it's kind of like a weak ice cream, like ice milk. So you're just gonna learn how much. It's dependent upon each person. Then you take your blade, put it back in. Top it and freeze it. Oh, I think I want this one as soon as it's ready. Sadly, it's gonna be ready in 24 hours. So I'm gonna keep going. Rinse the blades because we're gonna go to a different flavor. Now the mints are easy because there's nothing else that you're adding in it except for the cream and the milk, so top that off and blend it. Do the same thing with your chocolate mint. You don't have to rinse your immersion blender between the two because mint is mint, but then we're gonna start working on the pumpkin. Let's do the pumpkin. Oh, it smells heavenly. We're gonna cap it, label it, stick it in the freezer. Last is the licorice. I gotta rinse this blade first. Now for this one, I'm gonna cap it, stick it in the refrigerator and let it sit for a day or two, and then I'm going to immersion blender it. I'm going to wait for all of the licorice to get really, really soft for the immersion blender. But that's it, that's all there is to it. So when they've been in there for 24 hours, then you stick them in the creaming machine and you blend them all up and enjoy them. That's it, that's how I make. That is the recipe for how I make all of my basic flavors, and then we add in a whole bunch of fun stuff. You guys have a great day out there. Now you know what I know.